Hey guys, it's Jasper, and in today's writing update, I want to talk about what to do when you're not writing for your writing. Sort of not when you're not writing to help your writing. This makes sense, yes? So last week, particularly the day after Halloween, I ran into a problem, and the problem stemmed in sort of my idiocy. To put it nicely or lightly.
The problem I ran into with my writing schedule actually was October 31st, I mean Halloween from that time. I'd done my writing, I had done my work, I was working on my
blah blah blah. I don't think this is making sense at all, so we're gonna start over. I've talked about my writing calendar before. Calendar, basically how it works is I have my long-term goal right now is the deadline for my first draft, which is a date in December, which we're not talking about yet because I'm not ready to really fully acknowledge its existence just yet, but I'm getting there. I think I'm getting there. I have my final sort of long-term goal, and then in between those things, so to make sure that I meet my long-term goal, I have my short-term goals, which are these little orange post-its. And they're on post-its because sometimes you don't meet your goals.
You need to move them. You need like a grace period, and I like kind of using the post-it a lot better. One way or another has to get done, so you can only fit so many post-its in a certain amount of space. So it's not like you can just keep moving them and moving them and moving them, right?
So that's basically how my calendar works. But the problem I ran into was the day after Halloween. I was feeling pretty good. I had, a pretty good night the night before. I got to dress up as Sailor Jupiter, who is my favorite Sailor Scout, and since I was a little girl, I wanted to be Sailor Jupiter, and I finally was able to become her and harness the powers of thunder and lightning with my star wand, and it was really, really great. The Megaforce didn't stand a chance against me, is all I'm saying. Anyway, so I had a really great Halloween, but the next day I woke up and I was like, yeah, we're gonna tackle this writing, schedule. I've been doing really good with it. And the thing I realized is, so the 31st ends here. And then there was like 1, 2, 3, 4 blank squares. And then in November, 4, 5, 6. So I had 6 blank squares. The problem was I utilized the spaces that aren't actually really dates, that are just blank spaces. And so without realizing it, I gave myself a week that doesn't exist. So November 1st hit me like a ton of bricks because I went from feeling like, yeah, I can do this. Last night I was Sailor Jupiter, I've been really slaying at my timeline. I had reestablished it, it's good, first thing on the agenda, and I realized that according to my schedule, the 1st of November, I was already a week behind schedule. So I kind of freaked out a little bit. And at first told no one of my mistake. Just very much, even myself, living in denial that I had done this. But then, I readjusted things and gave myself essentially triple the amount of work to do for 6 days. So it took 6 days, and I just tripled the amount of work that I would normally do on that day. And I was like, there we go. Now my schedule is back on track. So the first day,
I stayed up till 3 or 4 in the morning, and I had only gotten 2/3 of the way through the work I needed to do. Second night, the same thing happened. I was up till 3 or 4. The third night, I was almost there. Fourth night, and so it's only been the last day. Like today was awesome. Yesterday was pretty awesome because both the days I finally met my goal all the way. I just did the 3 times the amount of work.
And what's exciting is now my schedule is kind of back to normal. But yeah, it's been interesting because the first week of November was just like. And what was kind of fun is, I'm not doing NaNoWriMo, but because my November started off like in a craze, I sort of felt like I was part of, this manic NaNoWriMo community, because all my Instagram writer friends were just going mad and crazy with their deadlines and word count, and I was like, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So that's been kind of fun. Now I'm realizing originally I said I was going to talk about, in today's writing update video, what to do to help your writing when you're not writing. And this is sort of the second thing that I learned, because the first thing I learned was you need to learn how to use a calendar, Jasper, and not schedule work on days that are not days, because you can't play with time in your world. You can only play with time in your fictional world that you've created. So learn how to use a calendar was the first thing I learned this week. The second thing was using the time that I have off. And this is something I've done before, but I've kind of fallen out of the habit. And so I'm trying to get back in. And that is utilizing the time that I have.
When I'm like cooking or cleaning, I kind of sound like a Cinderella or Snow White. Cooking or cleaning, getting ready, or I'm just taking like a 10-minute break, getting a snack done or something like that. Is
to listen to a TED Talk, or listen to a discussion on writing, or listen to something that talks about story criticism. There's some really great YouTubers who talk about what goes into a good story, what makes a good story, what are the things that successful, you know, for example, in movies, directors have leaned on. And there was a fantastic one I watched today, I talked about in my Instagram stories, which was about the Gothic and the fairy tale in dealing with trauma. And it was just really neat, and it was right on track with some of the stuff that I'm writing about. So whether it's sort of, you know, story-based and what makes a good story, or why it is, you know, certain genres seem to deal with, you know, certain things, or if it's on the other swing and it's talking about, you know, the publishing world, marketing world, sort of more technical aspects of writing, it's all good fodder. And so for taking a break, it's nice because it's not just a TV show, you know, that has nothing to do with my world. I've been watching The Office again, which is like
fun because it's funny, and sometimes when you're writing about monsters and goblins and dark deeds done in the night, you need something funny and light, and it's like nothing like your world. But
at the same time, I kind of have been feeling lately that's been pulling me far too much out of my world, and so I've been utilizing my breaks to find sort of more fodder for my writing, whether it is for my story or for the sort of technical aspects of writing, thinking about publishing and editing and marketing and that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do for today's video is I'm going to leave some links in the description down below. Yeah, that's what it's called. In the description down below, just a few links to TED Talks, videos on writing that I found, you know, helpful, maybe some clips that I've been watching, that sort of thing, just to encourage you guys to utilize your time off from writing to feed your writing, if that makes sense. That makes sense. Yes, yes. As always, I'd love to hear what it is you guys are working on. If there's any particular writing topics you'd like me to talk about, leave them down below. If there is a story you are writing, I'd like to hear about it. Tell me about it down below. If you'd like to know more about my own work in progress and you have a particular question, comment down below. As always, guys, let's be a community of writers that help each other out. Cheers, and keep drinking that coffee. Bye. My writing loudly through a reply.
So really quick, something that I've been using the last 3 or 4 days writing, and I've been writing some really dark, scary, violent kind of stuff. I found this loop of the Pan's Labyrinth lullaby. It loops for 10 hours, and so I've been listening to that for like 3 or 4 days, and it kind of makes you crazy, but just the right amount of crazy to write crazy and write well. So I will leave a link for that down below. That was my favorite. Cheers, guys.